Hey, how's it going? So this video is for the back stitch, which is this stitch right here. The back stitch is great for doing outlines. It's great for doing straight lines, curved lines, angled lines, any kind of line. It's kind of like a pen in stitches. You're not going to get a whole lot of texture with it, but it is great to work with any sort of outline or drawing that you're doing. For example, all of these stitches were also done in backstitch for the text. So that's another really good application for it. Okay, let's get started. So you're going to start with your needle threaded, your thread knotted at the back, and then I'm going to, with my thread knotted from the back, come up to the front at the very end of the line. So the origin point, the original point that you're coming out of, is going to be at the end of this line. And then I'm going to do 1/4 of an inch stitches. So this first stitch is going to be a little bit different than the rest, but just know that. So my next entry point, the point where the needle goes in, is right here, just 1 stitch length down. I'm doing these stitches at about 1/4 of an inch. And my exit point is then 1/4 of an inch past that right here. So it's going to look like that for your first stitch. And pull through. Now for every stitch from this point on, my entry point where the needle goes in is going to be at the end of this last stitch. So I'm going to be filling in this gap basically. And then the exit point of the needle is going to be 1/4 inch past. So you're going to have about 1/2 inch underneath the needle. I'm sorry, 1/2 inch of the needle underneath the fabric, and it'll look much like this. And then you just pull through. So you're always creating 2 stitches at a time. And you'll notice I'm using my finger back here. See that? Hey, what's up? I'm using that to really push the fabric up so that when I want to exit the needle from the back, it can be a little bit easier. So I'm bringing the needle in at the last stitch, and then I'm coming out at the end of the next stitch, pushing up from the back like that. It's going to look like that, where the thread is coming out halfway between where the entry and the exit points of the needle are, and pull through. And then I'm going to continue that till the end. And to end the back stitch line, all you do is just insert the needle at the end of the last point, as you've been doing the whole time, and pull it through to the back. Okay, next up we're going to work on a curved line. So I'm bringing the needle and thread out at the end, this end point right here, we're doing this line. And since a curved line in stitching is essentially a bunch of tiny little angles, you want the stitches to be a little bit smaller so you can get a really defined line. So again, the first stitch, I've come out here, I'm going to go in 1 stitch length ahead, and then come out 1 stitch length ahead. Pull through, and then my entry point is going to be at the exact same point of the last stitch, and my exit point of the needle will be 1 stitch ahead. So we will continue that. And you'll notice these stitches are a little bit smaller than the last ones I was making. And like I said, that just really makes sure that the curve is as defined as possible. It's like the difference between an 8-sided object and a 20-sided object. The 20-sided object is going to look way more like a circle than an 8-sided object will. And then the needle's going in. And so I'm just, every single time, no matter how weird it seems that the back of the needle is cutting across like that, as long as your needle tip is coming out on the line and going back in on the line, entering and exiting on the line, the stitches are going to follow that line. So you're good. All right. And then on to the angled line again to end it. I'm just going to insert it here and pull through. So for the angled line, starting down here somewhere. Yep, there we go. You're going to proceed as before. I don't need to make short stitches with this because it's not a curved line. So then when I get to the point of the angle, this might seem a little bit weird, but I'm going to enter at the end of the last stitch, and then I'm coming out at the beginning of the next stitch, which is actually going to go like that. Because when this stitch comes down here, you're going to want to put the needle back in there. So let me show you that in action. I'm going to pull through, and then the needle enters this tip and exits 1 stitch ahead. So you make that angle really easily. So you don't really want to worry too much about what's happening on the back. There's going to be a lot more thread on the back with the back stitch. This is normal. This is supposed to happen. All right, so then we have another angle. And again, I'm going to come across here. And then come back to this point. So I got a little off my line. Don't shoot me. All right, and there you go. That is a backstitch.
Want to know more about designing your own embroideries? Be sure to check out my latest book, The Art of Embroidery Design, or find a little magic in your threads with my best-selling book, Mystical Stitches. You can also sign up for my totally free creative embroidery workshops, Enchanted Blooms or Mythic Creatures. Head to mixedcolor.net for more. Oh, and I think this is the point where I'm supposed to ask you to like and subscribe, I guess? I don't know. I'm new to this.